So when you start thinking in this way, you start to realize that you can actually manipulate the way your mind views different scenarios, right? Like, or not necessarily how your mind views it, but how you react to certain scenarios. And you can start to suppress emotions that could be negative for you, right? So what you do is like think of something like death, right? It's like imagine tomorrow, I don't know, like a grandparent dies. You have two options. Either one, you can sit there and be like, "Oh, this person's dead. They're never coming back. Like it's all fucked." And then you can sit there and you can enter this sadness or this depression for months, weeks, maybe even years, right? And it's like the only thing that that sadness and depression does is make your current quality of life infinitely worse. Sure, do people need to grieve? To a certain extent, of course. But do people need to prolong their misery by constantly putting themselves in miserable position? Of course not. So what I do is I'll sit there and I'll say, okay, a person died, right? This cannot change no matter what. Like getting pushed, this cannot change. But if instead of viewing it as like they're gone and they're never coming back, you just see it as like, oh, I mean, well, they're gone, but maybe one day they'll be back. Or maybe not one day they'll be back, we just never think of them. It's like, it cannot affect your mental in a negative way, which allows you to always proceed with a positive mentality. Does that make sense? It's like type 1 if it makes sense. Clueless, true. No, but it's like when you actually start thinking about it, you start to understand what I'm getting at. And it's like when I use league analogies, right? Think of it from a league setting. Imagine your top laner is named like, imagine last game for example, right? Imagine I would have had a win trade on my team. And I sit there and I think this game's a win trade. It makes it so that I'll play in a way that no matter what happens, it's like I think we're gonna lose ultimately, so I won't try to win, right? And then my mental gets affected by that. Do you see what I mean? Whereas if I were to sit there and have a different mentality, it would be better. Please talk to a therapist. It's like I don't want to call you a disgusting loser, because I don't think that's very nice. Please talk to a therapist. Like, talk to a fucking therapist. It's like, do you even hear yourself? I'm telling you to view life in a way that you always maximize your happiness. And instead of sitting there and being hung up by things that are gonna just make you unhappy and sad and decrease your quality of life, just either ignore them or just don't actively think about them so you can always be happy. And you're telling me to talk to a therapist. It's like, are you retarded? It's like, you genuinely have to have some kind of like mental problem to type something like that, no? Oh, you don't cry and mourn and grieve like for months after the death of someone close to you, Doaenel? Oh, dude, you must have like some kind of problem. Yeah. Oh yeah, let me be miserable all day. It's like, but see, this is a problem. It's like, let me pause the music. This is genuinely like the problem nowadays. Is people are gonna sit there and you guys want to know what the main problem with this day and age is? And this is like unironically, I'm being dead serious, right, when I say this. Nowadays, you go on social media, you're gonna see people are more attractive than you, people are more muscular than you, people who have more money than you. You're gonna see people are more famous than you, people have more of a following than you, and you're gonna think to yourself, you want that, but you don't have it. And what is that gonna do? It's gonna make it so that you feel like your life isn't as good as what it could be, and isn't as good as other people's. What is your only coping mechanism possible? Oh, you just live in this perpetual state of like sadness and despair and depression, right? Prime example of why cancel culture exists, by the way. Because people are sitting there and they're just so sad with their lives because they're constantly comparing themselves to other people that they sit there and they have to tear down others to make themselves feel good, to give themselves meaning. Because they feel like their life will never have as much meaning as other people. So all these people whose lives have more, for what they perceive, have more meaning than them, they want to tear them down because they'll make them feel good about themselves. Okay? And the thing about it is at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, grief and mourning has to be one of the most disgusting things that society has ever normalized. And I'm being dead serious when I say this, like in game. Because you're sitting there and saying like, oh yeah, it's okay to be like perpetually sad. And I'm not saying it's not okay. But what I am saying is that people should always look to maximize their happiness, you know? You should always look to be in a position where you're constantly happy. But people are just so accustomed to being sad and being depressed and being like, feeling like shit all the time that it's like, When they have a situation that they can genuinely overcome, they just fucking refuse to. Not because they're unable to, but just because it's like, it would be too hard for them to overcome it. And so what they do is they'd rather just like succumb. Think about people who are hard stuck gold, for example. And this is, you can see this in League every single day. Dude, there's a guy who'll be hard stuck gold and say he's hard stuck gold because of his shit teammates. And then Closer will have a 70% win rate, rank 1 1500 LP. It's like, do you think fucking Closer would be stuck in your elo? Obviously not. So why do you have any excuse to be hard stuck? It all comes down to you. But the thing is, people need to find reasons for why it's not their fault. No, look, it's my team. And you want to know what the crazy thing is? This is the crazy thing. When you sit there and you'll like constantly say some shit like, oh, dude, like it's always my team, blah, 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 blah. It's like you will never exit the point where you're hard stuck. And you will always remain there, always remain in this unhappy state. Whereas if you sit there and you say, you know what, maybe I am the problem, and you look to make yourself better, and you look to improve your own gameplay, it's like now you can be at a point where you can ascend your own gameplay and become better. And this is an issue too, listen. A lot of the time as well, what's going to happen is like something's going to happen to someone. And I saw this TikTok recently. Let me tell you guys a fucking story. It was this TikTok recently, and this guy made a TikTok, and he was saying how when he was younger, his parents did really messed up things to him. And he was saying, I cannot change what my parents did, but I can change the fact that I treat others around me not worse because of what my parents did. So even though what happened to me when I was younger was fucked up and it led me to having problems, instead of blaming it on my parents and just always saying a point where I will have these problems, instead I will work to actively make myself a better person. Okay? And what if I tell you, this guy was getting shit on in the comments section. People were telling him, how dare you tell us how to deal with this? How dare... It's like, what kind of society do we live in where a message that's about empowering yourself as a human and as a person and making yourself the best version of yourself possible regardless of everything that happened to you and always seeking to make your life and your experience the most meaningful possible is getting shit on because people just want so desperately to find reasons why they are what they are and why they don't fucking change. It's disgusting, Twitch chat. And this is something, and that's why it's like my mentality, right? When I'm sitting there, my mentality in League is just focus on myself, focus on my own gameplay, right? Why do you guys think that is? It's because I have the same thing in real life as well, and I apply it to my game as well. What if I told you human beings have more power than what they're capable of? You, watching the stream right now, have infinitely more power and control over the way your life goes than what you think. Genuinely. But what if I tell you that there is this constant message surrounding negativity and surrounding not being able to overcome one circumstance that is being pushed because people don't want you to overcome your circumstance. They don't want you to. Because the second you start overcoming your circumstance, you're a threat. And they just want to keep you in a position where you're never a threat. It's like, imagine I'm here and I have this mentality on how to become a better... It's like if you've ever seen, guys, a YouTuber make a video on like how to become a challenger jungler, and you watch the entire video and it's like there's no information. He says nothing. Type 1 if you've ever seen that. And what if I tell you people like that are going to do that? Because they know that if they go in depth, what they do is they actually help people climb. They actually help them overcome their odds. And then when more people become higher elo, they don't need you as much. So people, what they're going to do, are going to try and always keep you in a position where you're reliant on them. Where you feel like you can never overcome your circumstance without them. And this is the basis for abusive relationships as well. But instead of it being an abusive relationship between a guy and a girl, or a guy and a guy, or a girl and a girl, or whatever and a whatever, right? It's like, it's an abusive relationship between yourself and society. And your mind state. Do you see what I'm getting? It's like, it literally has everything to do with mind state and like mindset. Genuinely. It's all about your mindset. It's all about how you view things. It's all about how you think about things. Your circumstance doesn't matter. And it's like, Doaenel, how can I be sure of what you're saying is true? Look at me. I was obese when I was 16. I was bronze 5 when I was fucking 12, 13. And now it's like there are people who used to be in positions where I am, thinking to themselves, like, oh, I don't think I could ever get there. But it's like, yes, you can. I was a 1 viewer streamer sitting there watching Tarzan, thinking to myself, wow, Tarzan is so above me. And then it's like, now I'm his like competitor, right? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like people will sit there and think to themselves they can never accomplish things because that's what society conditions you to believe. But at the end of the day, you can generally overcome anything you ever want to overcome, so long as you're willing to put in the work and so long as you're willing to have the effort that is required. It's easier for people to treat their problems like get out of jail free cards when things go badly, that way they can avoid taking personal responsibility. Exactly. Genuinely. Because the problem is, when you start saying it's my fault, you force yourself to change. I don't mean to call anyone out, but there are some people out there, streamers, right? People have been toxic for years, right? People have had negative attitudes for years, and no matter what happens, they will always have these negative attitudes. No matter what. They will always be toxic. And it's not necessarily because they want to be. Some of them genuinely want to change. But the thing is, if you're always going to be validated for the existence you have, you'll never feel like you need a change because changing is hard work. And changing requires literal effort, right? And that's why with me, it's like, it makes me laugh when people are going to sit there and bring up old shit about me. Or when people are going to sit there and be like, oh, Doaenel, you did X or Y or Z in the past. Oh, you don't deserve anything you have. Oh, you're just a toxic fucking league player. All this shit, right? Because I am one of the most changed people in the entire scene. And I'll just say that, genuinely, the way I was, bro, when I first started streaming, the way I am now, you can ask anyone, it's not at all the same. I've changed my mentality on literally every regard, in every single aspect, on everything, when it comes to league, when it comes to streaming, when it comes to my behavior, when it comes to my attitude, everything. People who have been watching me for years can vouch for this, right? And it's like, look where that got me. I changed my attitude. I changed how I interact with others. I forced myself to change. Because that's what it is. I forced myself to change, right? And forcing myself to change brought me so much more than I could have ever imagined. It brought me to being in a position where now I'm a challenger level player. It brought me to a position where now I'm well respected by my community and people who aren't even a part of my community. It brought me to a position where people genuinely like me as a person now. It's like, it brought me so much. And that's what I'm saying, when I sit here and I say, oh, dude, do this, that. It's not, don't view it as a personal attack. Or if you want to view it as a personal attack, view it as a personal attack. And if that's what it takes for you to actually, change something about your life or change something that you do that. Here, I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give you a perfect example. There might be a guy who's a bully, right? Who bullies you. And the only reason he might bully you is because he got bullied as well when he was younger. Or maybe he feels powerless, or maybe when he goes home he gets bullied by his parents in game, right? Or any of these things that could possibly happen. And the thing is, you're gonna be there and you're gonna understand this. But it's at the end of the day, the bully's actions are his actions, right? And they affect others around him. So it's up to that person to sit there and acknowledge that regardless of everything that's happening around you, you still need to continue with the best thing possible, right? The best mentality is possible, the best way of acting possible. And that's why with me, that's the battle that I'm fighting right now that you guys can probably see. Genuinely, half my games are win trade, if not more. That's not a joke. But my battle that I'm facing right now is trying to find a way where even if I'm getting win traded, I'm positive regardless. And I'm making the most of my situation regardless. Even when I'm tryharding for rank 1, even when I want to have this level of notability and notoriety, I'm still sitting here and I'm still I'm being held back by factors out of my control. And I need to come to accept this. And I need to come to embrace it. And I need to come to live with it. Are half the games win trade some days? Yes. But is that an excuse for me to be fucking Grandmaster right now? No, it's not. Because closer's rank 170% win rate. Do you see what I mean? So it's regardless of the shit that happens to me, it's something that I even struggle with. Do you see what I'm getting at? Even though I understand this, and even though I have this cognitive awareness of this thing, it's still something that I struggle with, right? So imagine people who don't know about it. Imagine people are sitting there interacting with others in really awful, despicable ways because of things that have happened to them in the past, and they're not aware of it, right? Or they're told oh no, it's fine to act that way because when you were younger or when you were this, something happened to you, so now it's okay to treat people like shit and it's fine to be like this, right? It's crazy. That's the only thing I could say about this, is it's genuinely crazy. Because I'll be the first to say it, it's not okay. You know what I mean? To sit there and to hold yourself back from achieving something that you could achieve simply because a thing like happened to you, that's not okay. And it's not okay not only for others, but for yourself. You know, like you should always want the best for yourself. You should always want your best future possible. And if there are things that you're harboring simply because shit happened to you in the past, it's like, why the fuck would you ever hold on to that instead of actively trying to overcome it? And that's the message that I'm trying to spread, right? Because nowadays it's like you look and it's like, what are the messages of people? But if you can actually spread a good message and then actually change someone's mentality on something and actually inspire someone to be better in a certain way, right? It's like, that's what means everything, you know? That's all it is. If I said that's all it is, you know what I mean, chat? It's like, that's all it is. Why are you getting win traded? And someone bigger like Tyler one isn't? Not that I don't believe you per se. Because Tyler never kicked the hornet's nest. Because the thing about Tyler is, no matter what, nowadays he'll play to win. Even if he'll spam FF, he'll play to win and he'll do well in the majority of his games. But for years, I've been the kind of player who, if Hecarim is banned, it's like, I'll have bad games and shit like that. And if you're like a Chinese booster, for example, and you're getting paid $100 a game and you have Doaenel off Hecarim just inting flaming everyone, right? It's like, you'll come to hate this person. And then if he starts trying to expose the scene, and if he tries like making things change, it's like, you're gonna hate this person, right? It's the fact that Tyler, even though he is a much bigger streamer than me, the win traders and the boosters know that if they were to start doing fucked up shit to him day in, day out, his platform is too big that he could take them down. So for their own preservation, and this isn't like in like the most non-weird way possible, this is a self-preservation thing. They genuinely can't in Tyler, they can't like, not that they can't, but they just don't. Because if they do, it's only self-destructive for them, right? He's the only guy that could take them down. Genuinely. He's the only one with a platform big enough that Riot can't ignore. So if they just leave him be, but they ruin everyone else's games, then it doesn't matter. T1 does get traded though, he legit talks about it. Well, yeah, he does, but it's not to the extent that I get. Like, and that's crazy to say because I literally have like 1/20th the viewers that Tyler has. But even though I have 1/20th the viewers that Tyler has, when it comes to like the boosting and win trading scene, I am a much more targeted figure than Tyler is. Me and Tarzan are the two most inted streamers in all of Hilo. Yo, if I get the Renata kill, it's like I won it. There we go. Perfect. So it's like, let me give you an example. This game is a prime example of the shit I was talking about for the last hour, by the way. My ADC this game is 0-9. Genuinely 0-9. And I could have sat there and I could have let my ADC's performance affect my gameplay, and I could have gotten tilted, I could have flamed my ADC, and I could have been there being like, you're the reason we're gonna lose. But instead, I just viewed the ADC as another obstacle that I had to overcome. I didn't type, I didn't say anything. And now look, we're in a position where the rest of our team is doing really, really well, and now we can win this game. And because I didn't let my mental come between me and winning this game, we're in a much more winnable position than they would be if I had sat there like flaming and like saying, oh, it's your fault, how are you 0-9, and like spam typing, spam pinging. Oh, I thought I'd be able to actually get, I mean, that's fun. If I could have actually killed the Rek'Sai though and get Death Sounds reset, it would have been insane. It's fine. Malphite's going crazy this game. I mean, Malphite, yeah. This is late though. I don't know, bro. Like, Malphite should have been here instantly and we should have committed for this instantly. But now, Fizz can get like an insane R and okay, maybe not. Alright, well, never mind. We're chilling. It's like we're chilling, I guess. Nice. We don't chase, we don't chase. But can we even Baron? Malphite has Sun first, maybe we do have the DPS. TF has CP too. Yeah, it could be done. Oh my god. Nah, I'm real with you, this game is comp diff. Okay. It's like it might just be comp diff. Okay, it's like I might have just inted. Okay. I mean, I inted, but we didn't lose dragons, so sure. Holy fuck. I actually lost half my health at Renato. Jesus. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a Renato to actually do anything. I'm real with you. Usually it's like you just do 1 or 2 auto attacks and it's nothing, you know. If I take us, I kill him with my W. Man immune. No, it's like man immune. Okay, for some way. Okay. There we go. Oh, we popped it? Alright, so. There we go. I feel like we can probably just end the game here, no? Yeah. Why no Spirit Visage? Because you don't really have any... Alright, Ma's just better. Ma's just better than Spirit. And Ma also gives you like AD and shit. Spirit is a straight tank item, whereas like Ma does give you some kind of like offense. I mean, we just end, no? Pass. See? So it's like this game, chat. What if I tell you? I didn't acknowledge the fact that my ADC was 0-9, and it's like we won because of it. You see what I mean? And it's like all I had to do is just not acknowledge it. Just ignore it. If that redemption would have come earlier. Damn. You got this? Okay, but does he even end? Dude, it's like he has 50 damage autos. No, he can't. Oh, do we just end? It's like I just got my 6th item, I was about to go crazy, and it's like they end. Wait, I have 150 ability haste. I've never seen this much ability haste ever. Nice. That game was not too shabby. No, I mean, it's like that game was not the shabbiest.